Welcome to another edition of Divine Warrior Ninjutsu podcast for June 2020. I'm Dai-Shihan Jason Steves. This is episode 19, and I thought we would do something a little bit different this time. We are going to include some audio clips that maybe are not professional quality, but they're not bad. There's background noise and stuff, but it's just literally unscripted random chat between the students about everything that's relevant to Ninjutsu and everything that's maybe a little bit farther outside of Ninjutsu. But nonetheless, there's some good topics covered. And someone suggested, it's like, why don't you include some of our talks that we have? And I'm like, hey, that's not a bad idea. So I thought I'd give that a try this time. So that's what you're getting. All right. So if the quality drops a little, excuse me. It wasn't really meant to be a podcast per se. Just chat, sitting around in the room. So here you go.
Is that really?
Yeah. If they survive it, they'll actually patch themselves up, and so it survived it.
This is the problem with the black bear. They are very curious, and then they get scared. They get scared, and they attack because they are scared, but not because they want to attack them. They are very curious.
Yeah, no,
They put their nose everywhere.
I felt so bad. I still feel bad. It's like a puppy dog, eh? Like
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I heard about did you hear about the cinnamon bear?
No.
It's like they are brown bears, but the fur is dark, and just the outside of the fur is like cinnamon color.
Okay.
And people, they said they are the best taste.
Okay.
The meat is really good.
We've got a lot of black bear.
No need to be racist.
Yeah. You gotta get rid of little black bear.
Black bear is better.
You can make a trap. I don't know if it's legal, but take a steel drum, 200-liter steel drum, secure it to a big tree, make just a hole, a small hole like this, put some peanut butter inside.
Cat, no. Get down.
Just like
It's gonna knock you
put in the
out.
hand, and he can take the hand out. He's there. Easy target.
Well, see,
I don't know how legal it is though.
what ended up happening is I ended up getting, at first it was great at first, but then the raccoons start coming around, and the raccoons will clean it right out. So anyway, I started tying them up high where the raccoons can't get at them. Eventually I figured it out, and it's working out for me.
The raccoons, they are mean. I was attacked by 2 raccoons, big like dogs, big like big dogs.
I think this spring I'm going to bring books up there with me, 'cause up there 5 or 6 hours. So.
I hit them hard with my boots, my working boots, twice, 3 times, 4 times. They were still coming.
And then they stopped coming around. The bear just stopped.
Yeah, just
But
they are sleeping now.
that was when I started bringing Jason Fisher with me, and then the bears stopped coming. So I don't know if they got a smell of a new person, or, but he's not real stealthy.
I don't
He
know, but
tries, but he's not.
Jason, he might be a problem.
Yeah, he's not. I think he wears cologne and stuff, and like it's not really the.
He might be like Shere Khan.
Still got a lot to learn, anyway. So do I. Just started to. Well, it's twice the chance of getting caught. If you got a partner with you, twice the trouble. Like, better off alone, really.
First. Take a second.
I'm good.
What the guys they told me that they have a lot of blueberries, big ones.
Ezra, I noticed you're getting pretty good. And within the past year, just watching the videos, you're really improving.
Oh.
Ezra is.
Really?
Yeah.
He's saying I'm not doing good at all.
Well, when I first started, he wasn't, but he's doing a lot better.
I hope so.
He's doing something. It's important.
There's a big difference from doing nothing to doing something.
Yeah, right. Push. We have to push him a little bit.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You're a big help because
That's
come
right.
here.
I know.
He doesn't let him sit around, which is good.
Okay, I'm sitting.
That's what I always say. So if you see yourself, or if you see someone all the time, you don't really notice. You don't notice yourself
Yeah.
aging, even. But if you look at photographs, that's different because there's a big age gap. Even if I go back and watch some of the older videos and look at there, I see major changes. So, yeah. Today, I told him already. Today, but start with Tuesday and then Thursday.
Tuesday and Thursday, and then work Saturday.
Yeah. I said it's advanced. It's advanced in the sense that it kind of supersedes taijutsu. It's not the same thing. But although we might be doing taijutsu tonight a bit there. The first thing they said is maybe we should stop. Someone wrote me from my Kijiji page, or not Kijiji, yeah, Kijiji, my Kijiji ad, and formally challenged everybody in our dojo who wanted to come. And
Let them come.
I'd like to do a demonstration. And I'm like, okay, so if you really want to. I said, I basically said, we might have to take some precautions because, when we don't spar, we kind of do. But, I mean, when we practice, or if you were going to do a demo, if it was me, I'd go full out.
The guy doesn't know that some fingers in his eyes. We can do this.
Well, generally, we're not really going for the head anyway. We need our fingers, we're grabbing things. And
Yeah, no, I go for the head, but
But
take his eye out.
yeah, boxers are used to getting jostled in the head, but not fingers in the eyes.
no,
So-
know about something going in their throat. Or,
Well, that's how it ended. I kind of said, dude, I said, you don't really know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're getting into. I said, this is reality-based combat because we use live blades and sometimes firearms. And I said, I'm going to do everything I can. I said, there's no ring like there is for boxing. There's no referee. There's no whistle. There's no rules. We don't even have to do one-on-one. If I have other people there's no rule that says they can't join me. And I said, I'll take out a knife. And said, if I have the opportunity to use a knife, I'll stick it right in your throat. And that's how I said it. I said, dude, go home before you get hurt.
and most combat is based off of ninjutsu. Like it's all.
It is, but they don't know. They don't realize that.
Yeah.
Or they don't want to admit it.
If you join the army or you go to the police or whatever, they're going to train you ninjutsu moves.
Basically.
The said guy I work with is a former national champion boxer in Waco. Said he's fast as hell. He said I grabbed him once and put him in a Han. He said, I'm done. Now he's approaching 60. He said, I said, yeah. I said, if I'm dumb enough to let you hit me, that's my fault. I said, if you're dumb enough to let me grab you, you're screwed.
Yeah.
He said, I can understand that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he wasn't just lightly resisting like we do when we started. He had a full grip and just like snap.
Yeah. People, when they're testing, you tend to do that too. They go really tight. We've started to address that a little bit. What happens? But I don't know if this guy was young or if he was on drugs or what. I'm like, I think I even said something like, if you really want to do this, you got to sign a waiver. I think we'll have to have a paramedic there, and I think an RCMP for a witness, because it's not going to go down like he thinks it's going to go down. It's going to be very, very bad.
But you can say something else. Come and attack.
Yeah.
We defend.
Yeah.
And we have cameras to show you.
Oh, I said that too. I said we recorded it. So
He attacked.
So you wouldn't even realize how the heck you got behind them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're there.
but at the same time,
Because if we agree, like
Yeah.
if we agree, we lost the self-defense.
that's right.
If we agree to fight, we are losing our self-defense.
That's why I said an RCMP witness. I said,
Yeah,
so
they won't come. They won't do this.
Plus, it's disrespectful to the art because that's not what we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
No, but he can come and attack somebody. That's it.
I don't know, man. It's just really odd.
See, we did the legislation. I don't know if you watch it. So if he attacks somebody, and he's in our house, so we can jump on him.
Yeah.
No, it's stupid.
And I've come across cocky people before that think they're all that in a bag of chips, but
Boxers are kind of trained that way. Like they almost have to be. You can't go in there thinking you're not the best.
I say that too. Like if you actually are in a self-defense situation, you have to convince yourself you're going to win.
Yeah.
You have to, or else any doubt will lead to. But I don't know. The guy's going to get hurt especially if he just keeps making a circuit, does that to everybody. He's going to get killed.
Yeah, well, these guys would
So
have
what-
a knife on them,
Yeah.
purposely for
Just that.
that.
That reminds me of that fellow on the internet. I can't remember his name, but he's all over the internet. He goes into these boxing clubs and stuff and starts just like telling them that he's going to beat them and stuff, and then he just beats the snot out of them every time. And he's got all these videos on there.
Is it a comedy? Is
No,
he
it's a
serious?
real. It's serious. I think he's got mental health problems,
Don't they all?
but he just keeps going in there.
I don't care. He has mental problems. Break his neck, kill him. That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
Self-defense.
But I would too. Like if he showed up, man, I wouldn't hold back. I'd go for my sword, pick up my sword, and say, now what? And like he's doing this, and I want him to realize he's so screwed.
Just have somebody toss you the humbo.
Yeah. Or just like even a little knife that he can't see, but then that's
Not allowed.
dirty. Oh, everything's allowed, man.
No.
I know what you mean, though, as far as the law goes.
A lot of people are leaving because it's illegal to kill them. So.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
But I mean, the reality of it, even if you just did it hand to hand, I mean,
Yeah, he's still not ready.
they're studying one thing, and we've got all these other moves.
Yeah. And I tried to explain a little bit. It's like, well, when we do a technique, it's not like sport. Ours are meant to maim or kill. It's like if we do the shoulder thing, it's not supposed to be at the
Shoulder.
arm to flip them. It's meant to break. It's like I don't think you understand, dude.
Well, it's like, let's say you go against a jiu-jitsu fella. Let's say you're a boxer, and the jiu-jitsu fella just lays on the ground and says, come on. What's the boxer going to do? You know, you're either going to get up on top of me or you're going to stand there. Or,
I've seen that.
I have seen it too. To me. Someone says, show me a Japanese armbar, and the first thing he does is lays down and waits for me to start it. Yeah, good times. But the reality of it, though, reality sport or reality combat, that's how this all started. Someone's trying to hurt you or your family. That's where this is kind of coming from. Right? So then what do you do? Or if you know they're coming, we wouldn't go straight to defense. That's like a last line of defense. I mean, hand-to-hand combat. You try to evade, throw them off, trickery, psychology. If you think of the old style ninja, that's what they would do first, right? They would try to divert the danger and only fight if they have to. So if they're coming in your house with a machete or a gun, I'm going to use a machete or a gun or a whole bunch of things to kill them. And then feed them to the pigs. Like you'll make them disappear. Yeah, my people are coming. There's more and more of them coming into Canada. They have an agenda. They're religious beliefs. They kill, right? So be ready because it's coming.
I'm already entering my house.
Oh, I can see you. I can
It's
see
kill. It's kill. That's
Yeah,
it. I
absolutely.
go to kill him.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I won't stop till I see him dead.
Yeah, and even when they're down and you think they
That's
might
it.
be dead, I'd still make sure.
Oh, doesn't work with me.
Yeah.
Like the old method of the prisons where they
Imagine the guys
That might be
checking,
Troy.
checking the pulse. No way. I'm not checking the pulse.
Well, the thing is, it's hard to tell. Like, you know,
Yeah, it is.
Like,
Yeah.
like that's the
And even, especially with footwear and the tabbies and stuff, if you favor a 29, the next time you get a 29, it might not be the same.
Yeah.
They're very...
It depends on who's making them.
Yeah.
Because you get different companies.
And the sizes 20 to 29 is only that much different.
Yeah.
What the heck was that? My girlfriend. No, we were just talking about a lot of things, but the guy that challenged.
Oh.
Because him and I had talked about it already.
Yeah.
And he gave me his thoughts on what we should do.
Here, you look.
Oh. I'll test them out.
Pretty simple. Not worry about it too much because most of them don't ever show up.
I
Well,
almost feel bad for them.
Yeah.
They just
They're
believe
just-
it.
they're just trolls. And you're gonna get that.
What, scissors?
Oh, I've seen trolls.
No, I think they're.
No,
It opens up.
Okay.
I know there was some forums years ago when the guy was mouthing off to one of the other guys from Lee School.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to challenge him, blah, blah, blah. I said, look, here's the day I'm there. He said, I'm leaving to head back to work on this day. The guy said, oh, yeah, now he's giving dictations on what day I can show up to challenge him, blah, blah, blah. The guy said, I'm just telling you when I'm here and when I'm at work. He said,
Yeah.
you don't show up, that's not my problem. You see a post like a month later, and he said, I waited for you, you've never showed up, where are you?
There was, it's been a while since someone challenged me, but there was a couple of years ago, there was an old guy, and he lives in Moncton. And I found him on Facebook, and he said something to him. I'm like, come on, old man. I said, don't forget to bring your walker. He was old. He was
At
like,
least you're going to need it
he was almost 70 years old, and he was mouthing off.
70?
Pretty much.
Grandpa.
No wiser, huh? No wise guy. Stupid guy at 70.
And I did say, you're welcome to come. And he never showed up. That's how most of them are. That's the only ones. I thought we had more.
No, those are the other ones.
Most of them.
Oh, we had
Japan?
Velcro ones, too.
I don't think so. I think we're
No,
done
did you
with
sell
them.
them all?
I think we did sell them all.
Well, no, I just tested this first one.
Most people that
Sorry,
challenge are just going to, they expect you to back down online, is what it is. They don't expect you to
Are
actually
these
say, okay,
all the
come on.
same size?
They're a bit different, I think. But there's a short and a long version.
Yeah. Well, they seem
I mean,
all
I
the
think the
same.
big difference with Ninjutsu and all
We
those
can
martial
get
arts
a
is
few other
where
sizes.
we're weapons based. A lot of our moves are because, like, we focus a lot on evasion because you don't want to get hit with a weapon.
Yeah.
So you got to be an expert at evasion.
Even he's got that down.
From Japan, so they probably just like the men there are probably
Tiny. And I mean,
stick legs now.
We can
But
get bigger ones.
We can get.
What? Yeah.
We have another source.
you know, I was wondering, there's some, like the more traditional ones where you tie them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm wondering about that.
We can get those, too. We haven't. No one's ever
Now,
asked.
I know,
If
that's
you
right.
can.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't, maybe I don't know, like, I could maybe get, I don't know if you can. Look it up,
Yeah. We'll look
you
at
know
it.
what I mean? Like, and we'll figure out, like,
Yeah.
something, or I'll make them. I don't know. I'm just gonna
There's
Yeah.
a couple more
We've had one.
that I'm thinking of that we can get to.
It's the biggest class we had in a while.
Oh, come here.
Or anywhere.
Yeah.
Now, what was it last time we had this many people in a class? We had, what's his name?
Oh,
Before he got
yeah.
injured? No, it was,
Oh,
we had Amy and Trevor. What was his name?
Tristan?
Oh,
Tristan.
That Tristan guy?
Yeah, so there were 4 of us in the class.
And family just signed up today.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah? Like
Yeah,
online, or do
and
you
a
mean like
7-year-old.
in
A 7-year-old.
physical?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Separate
friends with
films.
them. Like,
Sorry if you're watching.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, are you live streaming? Oh, okay. Having like super racist conversation.
That's okay. There's nobody watching currently, and the only people who can see it are on membership sites, so they
Yes.
already know what
Yeah.
they're in for.
They all know that. Yeah. Okay.
Cat. Here.
Oh,
Over
goodness
here.
gracious.
So did you ever find out who that guy was? Sorry.
all I know is that he was going by
You said what? Jacob.
Yeah. Jacob. That's all we got.
But so he was on a Kijiji ad,
Yeah.
was it? Okay. I've had like in the past I used to get those like most of the time, I just stop. I don't even respond, like, because you can kind of tell this. I don't know. Like, if you can't, maybe I'll. I don't know. Like, if you can't, maybe I'll. I don't know. Like, it's going to get stupid. You can kind of see it ahead, and you just. But I mean, even at that, if you're just a few times, like I've had those, and I go, "Oh yeah, okay," and I get, but then I just get nice. My wife's like, "Oh, you can't send that. That's kind of threatening." I know. Then I'd have to erase everything and start over.
It boggles my mind how many people on the internet don't take ninjutsu seriously. Like they think it's a joke.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like a huge percent, I find. Like,
I think there might be a reason for that too, though. I think, well, him and I have discussed a lot of people online or anywhere who claim ninjutsu don't really do ninjutsu. They think they do, but they're just doing Budo Taijutsu, which is the unarmed combat part.
Yeah.
They forget everything else, or they haven't been taught everything else.
Or better yet, they're idiots who decided to step into an MMA ring and think they're going to beat the MMA specialist. It's like,
no.
you're stuck in a ring, you're
You're on their turf.
on their turf, you're going to get hurt unless you take them out first.
Yeah.
And if you don't have anything to hit them with, well,
well, they think you're doing stuff with a compliant partner, but that's to demonstrate and that's
Yes,
to teach.
you
Like,
need to have a
that's what you have
compliance
to do.
helper.
But
Like
that's just
we all know, as we
Yeah.
started to explore, nobody
Yeah.
stands there with their fist out. But
No.
you got to start somewhere, right? That's why now we're kind of pulling our punches more, trying to make it more realistic. But there's no such thing as realistic. I think. So
it's like, yeah. And if you're out in the street, people aren't going to stand there and wait for you to throw the first punch. There's going to be 5 of them on you before you get a
That's right.
chance.
So what would he do? What would he do if he did a little roll and like, you know what I mean? Like, what the?
I said,
What's going on?
What's he going to do when he walks in? You kick him in the balls.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if I said it or I was thinking of saying it, but it's like what? Just one finger in his eyeball and it's all over. But forever for him. Like if you can't see for life, then I don't know that I necessarily want to do that. Like you might be stupid.
Not necessarily. I've gotten into a fight where, like, I was a pretty big guy, and his friends were coming, so I stuck my finger behind his eye, and I said, "Here's how's it gonna go." I said, "I can pull him out, and your eyeballs gonna fully come out."
And, it
And
wouldn't take much.
I said, "Here's the problem. You'll never get it back in without a doctor, and that's if we don't rip out the nerve." So do you want to tell your friends to?
Piss off.
They did. Then I ended up going someplace. I went for a job interview, and guess who was interviewing me
Same
years
guy?
later? I did get the job, just so you know. Kevin. Yeah, this guy Kevin. I was like, I went in, I went, "Man, you look familiar." And I went, "Oh, yeah, I know who you are." I walked in, I sat down, I was like, he just smiled, he goes, "Oh, yeah." I was like, "So how's it going?"
So should we
"Good."
continue this conversation?
Yeah, it lasted less than 5 minutes, and I was like, "Well, I guess I'll go." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, that's cool." That was nice. It was, yeah.
Want some pizza? Want some? Well,
Well, at least they paid the 3 of them prepaid,
Yeah.
so you've got their money. So whether they show up or not, you're
That's
still
right.
the other day she was talking about somebody. You know, I'm going to say this, right?
Yes, you are. Yeah.
I don't know who they were
Oh.
talking about. Someone had paid for something, and
Never came back.
no, it was for a DVD, a CD. You wanted a copy of you wanted a copy of Stephen Hayes' Cold Moon.
Hmm.
So,
That's funny how I was going to buy it.
oh yeah.
Yeah. It's all about the
You
fish.
know, the whole point is she's like, "Oh, I hope they don't ask for the money back." And I said, "Remember the rules of acquisition from the Ferengi of Star Trek. Once you have their money, you never give it back."
Well, how many people have paid and then they forgot that they paid for something?
Lots.
Quite a
There's
few.
been a few people. Even a guy, like that guy that came to look.
Yeah.
And,
We had a Muslim come into the house one day.
Yeah.
I don't know that he was Muslim necessarily. He was Arabic and he was in Arabic dress.
Oh, yeah? Like
And
full
took-
tradition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He took a picture of the gym. He's like, "Oh, this is right exciting," and he prepaid $40.
He walks around, he's taking pictures of the whole building. Give me a demonstration. Where's your boiler room?
Your electrical panels.
Yeah. You want to know where the bathroom is? No, no. Sorry.
Where's one of the guys that's seen a lot of your? This is why we train videos.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I get dinged on when somebody complains and it comes off. I've been putting a lot of them on the membership site now, so. And we just watched a good one last night. But it's a documentary, this one. Instead of
Oh,
a clip.
Sweden? That one?
Sweden, yeah.
Yes.
A lot of bombs going off in Sweden.
Yeah.
And rapes.
Rape.
The rape is
It's a
epidemic.
capital rape. Oh.
I had actually a discussion with someone. The guy was from Norway. Excuse me. And then he was going on, oh, no, there's no such thing. This a few years ago before it really ramped up. I said, really? I said, and I actually know people from Sweden. I said, so, you know. But anyways, he had to come back and say, oh, yeah, I guess so. And I was like, yeah, there's like no-go zones. And that was one of the arguments. I said,
Yeah, that's right.
Europe has a lot of no-go zones. I said, you know, and it's happening in Ontario right now. Like Windsor, London, Kitchener, Waterloo, a little bit, not so much Waterloo, but in those areas, they're big communities there, and they're just overrunning
The documentary we watched, there was just on the edge of one of these communities, there was a police station, and they totally
They burned
evacuated
it.
the
Yeah,
police station.
they had to leave.
They said it was too dangerous for a
Abandoned
police
it.
presence.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
France and Paris, same thing.
They pull right out.
Well, they've been shooting at the police, in the police stations.
And it's coming here.
It's time for the police to just start shooting and asking questions
Yeah.
afterwards.
Fully armed, fight back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is all the more reason that I plan on getting that body armor that I
Oh, you never need body armor if you've got a good old sniper rifle, 308, sitting far enough, and you just like sitting there. You can just like sit there with a big gulp.
It's coming though. It's coming. We're one of the last safe countries. Us, or the Americas, or North America at least, is one of the last ones.
The U.S. will hold out for a lot longer.
Yeah, we're not going to last as long as the U.S.
We're too liberal here. We're gullible. So
well, at least the ones that people keep voting in power are.
I didn't vote for this idiot that's here now.
Nope.
I saw an article that said 50 some, they know for sure 50 some illegal voters that, because a lot of people that are in Canada, they get the voter cards, but they're not citizens.
Yep.
So there's at least 50 some that they confirmed for sure they weren't allowed to vote, and they did, and they're not going to prosecute or follow through.
Well, no, obviously not. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Vote for the guy that gives $10 million to terrorists.
Yeah. That's right. And then let the terrorists vote also.
I can't believe he got in again. That surprised me.
I know.
Again, stupid Ontarians.
Can
Well,
you not
he
go over
planned it
here?
pretty good though. he spread out his cards all over Canada, not just one spot, but he had enough that he knew.
But the West entirely threw them out.
Yeah.
Mm.
Where did we go?
I found a download for 3D printed blowers.
Oh, yeah.
It's called the Bolt. It prints it in the different pieces and you bolt it together.
Okay.
So it can come apart. And it's kind of neat. It's been out for a couple of years. The guy was showing what it looked like in all the parts.
What is it? So a 3D printed gun, like plastic?
3D printed lower, because the uppers aren't weapons in Canada.
Mm.
You can buy a complete upper for $500
Yeah.
with everything on it, and just drop it into a plastic part. Off
And
you go.
I got all the blueprints anyways.
Yeah.
I got a whole.
Wasn't that long ago they were saying 3D printed firearms in Canada is now a federal offense.
Yeah.
Well, of course it is, because they can't track it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And as they're trying to make it more and more legal.
Receiver called the bolt. I think it's called a bolt because, as you can see, it's bolted together. You
That's plastic?
That's plastic.
That's a nice plastic.
It's reinforced, so I think it's a little thicker. He didn't bother showing it shooting, but he said he's tried it.
There's
Everything snaps in.
There's a couple 3D printers now that print metal too.
Mhm.
They have like I don't know if you've seen the ads online, but they have 4 cups, and they kind of shake, and there's like butane that heats it up and liquefies the metal, and then it prints the metal, so you can print metal parts. That's pricey. And I wrote them, and I said, "What type of metal, though?" Because aluminum or some kind of alloy.
It's pretty soft.
They said it's steel, and they gave me the number of the steel, which I didn't know there were numbers, so I looked it up, and it's
That's according to the carbon alloy. That's what it is.
seemed pretty hardcore steel, like it's steel, like stuff they make bridges out of and stuff. So
Are you talking about the 3D printer from the States or?
no CNC machine, you're thinking, right?
No, there's
Okay.
you can buy it's about $3,000, but it's basically a box, and all it is, you just put a piece of metal in, pop,
And it melts it.
no,
Oh,
this one just cuts it with a laser to the spec.
okay.
Like you program it in, it's all computerized, and within I think an hour you'll have all your lower piece, and you'll it'll recreate an AK or a AR-15. Sorry,
That's one of the ghost gunners.
yeah, that's what it is. I can't remember the name, but you cannot order it in Canada. But I mean, you could always,
That's why you go across the border, buy it from one of the dealers, and bring it back in a box that says 3D printer, not ghost gunner.
Yeah, and it says Canon on the
Oh,
box.
that's good though.
Yeah,
Because they
yeah,
make
you see
cameras
it
and
in.
stuff and printers.
Yeah.
Which that's not.
It's just the U.S. government hates the damn thing, which is why they called it the ghost gunner, specifically to piss them off.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Pissed them off.
but the newest models can print the pistols, AR lowers, and AK lowers.
But if you're really worried about losing firearms, you've always got firearms because your enemy will have them.
Yeah.
And once they have them, you only need to take out 2 guys at a time.
That's like there's a new game I just started playing. It's called This Land Is Our Land, or This Land Is My Land, and you're the
Indians.
you're the Indians, and the settlers are coming in, camping and stuff. Well, that's how you start. You start with nothing, right? And that's what you got to do. You got to take their guns. So, they're great stealth. It's a stealth game.
Yeah. But you don't have to always use stealth like in guerrilla warfare, especially written by the Swiss. They'll tell you to, if you want to take the guns, you take out 2 guys that are sitting on post, bored, tired, and it looks like that you need help, and all of a sudden they get knifed, and then you've got one gun to the next, and that's how you build. I mean, that's how Mao built his army. He says, "Oh, we'll take y'all on," and they said, "Well, with what guns? You don't have guns. Yours." And they laughed, and then he laughed. And then they didn't laugh for very long because he killed them all, millions of people. But that is how he built his army, with other
Mismatch of
Yeah.
uniforms.
Mismatched.
That reminds me of
patchwork.
like some South American country where the guerrillas, they're all wearing different uniforms, different weapons. Nothing's the same.
Paramilitaries.
Or they got the mounted turrets on the back of a pickup truck, and
That's
stuff
what
like
I
that.
want.
What's that?
That's what I want.
It's like,
Can
wow,
they-
that's a professional.
Converted anti-aircraft, 50 cal, back with truck.
Yeah. Boom!
It almost flips
Tips
over every
over.
time you fire it.
Apparently, the Jews held them off for a while. They almost won. They done real good.
They didn't.
They didn't win. It's the Romans. They did pretty good.
Why not? And actually, there's something you said
Actually, I
about,
was studying both at the same
using
time.
colored belts
Mhm.
again, going back to that sort of thing. And that's okay if you wanted to, but not really my thing. But when I look at people's stars, I still have a hard time.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
Is it gold, silver?
And if you're looking at someone from behind, or
I was almost thinking of using stripes again, like military, or down here.
but a colored belt is a lot more visible. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's all around.
Yeah,
That's the thing. That's really what it's.
or even just numbers, like literally a typo number. If you're 7th Q, you have a big 7.
Yeah.
But then you'd be
Well, at this point, the Bujinkan as a whole is kind of splintered off into individuals, so he can do pretty much whatever he wants.
you can do whatever you want, anyways. Technically.
I was watching, and I never watch Van Gogh, but he put a video up.
Mhm.
It's like, what's the meaning of Doshi?
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
was like, what is the meaning of Doshi? So, and according to his explanation,
Yeah.
was a shortened Shidoshi, and he didn't like Shi because it means death. But he said he didn't use Dai-Shihan anymore, but he said Shihan means master, which doesn't quite, but it's close. And he says Dai-Shihan really means grandmaster. I was like, oh, technically.
Well, I mean, Dai is
Big.
For big.
Yeah.
Other than being a teacher, then I don't really care for ranks. Like I don't. It means
Yeah.
nothing to me. It's just as long as you're
Back in the
attending
day.
and you're learning.
Yeah. In fact, the last year, Nagato said himself, he said, as soon as he walked in the door, they gave him a black belt first day.
Yeah.
Only because,
He was Japanese.
That's all we had.
and tall and big. No. Yeah, that's, I mean, there was no ranking system like we
Well,
have
some
today.
people get their blank. The black belt. It's not according to how good you are at your techniques. It's according to loyalty, and there's a lot of
Yeah, there's a lot of things.
that kind of stuff.
And someone even asked, and I may have mentioned it in a blog or something, but he said, someone says he says, I have students and they're almost ready for black belt. And he says, when should I promote them to black belt? And Nagato says, whenever the hell you want. Basically, he says, but having said that, there are certain standards. But he said, everyone's going to do it the wrong way. We have some teachers that are giving black belts really fast, but the guys are terrible. He says, basically, go by skill, but also consider things like heart, courage, how good they are. Like how good they are in public, that kind of thing.
It's true that you can only go so far if you don't have a good heart rate. They're not going to
Yeah.
grade you past. I don't know if it's your 5th degree. Is that the big test for that, or is
A lot of
point
people,
there?
I'm not sure yet. I'm pretty sure I can do it. A lot of people have been doing it, and they just tell us, okay, that they did it, and he accepts that.
Yeah.
Or in other cases, they would videotape them doing it and send them the videotape, and that's good. So,
But I mean, they're basically
Yeah.
you got to find someone with a good heart. You can't
let
someone get past
that's
that
right.
point, even if they're really good. You got to have.
I had
the
someone
heart in
said,
that place.
if not for me, it was for someone right near me that did it. I can't remember when, but he said something like, he doesn't decide when to give someone a go down. If the spirits tell him that they should get it, whatever that means. I don't even know what that means, but so he says when he feels like the spirit's telling him, okay, give them a go down, he gives them a go down.
Yeah.
And I've also seen other tests where someone they would pass, but just like they would just do this and it would miss, but they didn't roll or anything, and he would pass them. And I'd see other people who would roll way out of the way, and I was like, "Whoa, that was good." And he's like, "Nope, fail."
Yeah, that was the
What
impression I was getting from that too. It's
What's
like
that?
there's more of a spiritual thing going on.
Yeah.
They show up in the 7-Eleven.
But if they do good and what you think is a pass, and he says fail, maybe he knows they're a bad person.
Yeah.
Because if I have this little pool of guys coming up, and I know someone that's an asshole, like.
Because that's the thing, he's trained to be stealthy with it, so he could go as stealthy as he can, and you're not going to detect it.
That's right.
Or you could do the whole. Okay, you can feel that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So he
but
can
this is
decide.
not-
in a
This
sense
is not
at
the
that point.
meaning of the test. Like he's cheating. So
The detection, you mean?
yeah, like if he's doing something in purpose that you can hear and not feel, this is not the test.
Well, when
The
when
test
there's
is
a,
losing his meaning. So
when there's a lot of people in the room, like 100, 200 maybe, it's hard to hear.
Well, no, there's a feeling in the air. You feel
that kind of-
energy.
yeah.
Just yours.
Wow, I hate everyone else. I love my own kids. I hate everybody else.
Sure.
Funny, that's how I
If you love your kids, man.
I can tolerate my niece and nephew for short term.
Yeah. And it's true. Once you have kids, like you definitely love your own kids more. If I had to
You
teach
should.
a preschool or something, that's one of the reasons I stopped doing kids. Because I maybe I should clarify doing kids.
I think we were on the same.
I stopped doing kids because they wouldn't shut up about the
Yeah,
pay.
they just kept complaining. Okay.
When did you start?
Around the same time as you. Did they say 12-year-old Philippine girlfriend?
Yes.
That was last week.
Last week. Yeah. No, but Filipinos are quite small.
So there was a period in my life, 1.5 years when I tried everything. I was looking for a wife, so I had to try. And in Montreal, you can try everything you want.
It was like a buffet.
Montreal, you just decide this night I want, I don't know, yellow, black, brown, whatever you want.
Oh, that's right. I gave you guys a whole bag full of that.
Yes, we can. We still have it.
I'm gonna really go to town once CNC machine gets here. Yep. And he was saying that because he does inspections on ships, he can get big pistons made of solid aluminum. Yeah, it's like ready to
That
go.
would be nice.
Clamp it down and start car.
That's what she said.
Ha! So let's have a vote. Who wants to stay and chat? Who wants to go do something else?
Who wants to leave?
Or leave? I do have a few things planned, but it's kind of all over the place. I was thinking maybe of building the Donohi. Thanks.
No problem.
Your comment.
It didn't have to be the.
I know. No, it has to be done, and I'd rather someone else do it for me.
Okay.
That's what you have students for. It's like, here, build this for me. But the.
Dave Chappelle was good.
Oh,
Dave
that last
Chappelle
one. Did you
was
see
on.
that
He's
last
so
one?
funny.
That
Dave
Netflix
Chappelle would have
special.
nothing else to
Oh,
work
my
with.
goodness.
Well, a lot of them blacks use black jokes or racist jokes, but that's common, right? You have to have. If you can't poke fun at people, then there's nothing left to joke.
Well, that is the point of comedy. But I mean, Mel Brooks said it. He says like this PC culture is just killing comedy. Like, you know,
Japs.
Yeah.
I got a thing from Andrew Thorburn, and he says something about the Japs. He called them Japs. I'm like, holy shit. Racist.
Oh, that fella.
That fella? All you people?
oh, I was at the gym last week, and so I'm sitting there, and there's these young guys that come in, and there's a group of, young guys, probably like 20 to 25 tops. Their little shirts, and they're all like, and most of them were white, and they're just talking. I'm sitting at one bench, and this guy's sitting next bench over, and he says to the black guy, he says, basically says, "Get the fuck out of here, you blackie," or something like that. As a joke, like they were friends. He says, "What did you say?" I was like, "Wow, dude." I was like, "You got some balls." he said, like, I won't repeat, like, because it's kids, but he said, like, "Yeah, yeah." I was like, how did he call him? Like, black piece of shit or something. I was like, I'm like, I was like, did I actually hear that? I mean, this is like in a full gym, and I'm like, I just stopped. I looked at him. I was like, man, that guy's gonna get decked. And the guy was like, what did you say to me? He said, I'm just joking, man. I was like, wow. I was like,
Dave Chappelle, he goes, I'm pro-life. And you get a lot of ooh in the audience, right? He goes, wait a minute. I'm also pro-abortion. Just depends who I got knocked up. And he goes, I believe, he says, if she's got the right to abort, I've got the right to abandon the motherfuckers.
I think I know. I've heard that one.
Oh, it's good.
You did a clip on what was it? My Niggers or something like that. It's about the Nigger family. It was a white family and their last name was Nigger. Oh,
Really?
yeah, look it up
Nice.
on YouTube. And he has this whole skit, like and it's supposed to be like in the 1950s, like Leave It
Wow.
to Beaver kind of thing. And he's like, "What up, my niggas?" And he's just going on. You gotta watch it. Like it's hilarious. Like it's awesome. I think it was called. Well, if you type in Dave Chappelle, Nigger family,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it'll come
I'll
up.
find it.
Oh, I mean, I killed
Well, that's
myself
like
laughing.
his one he did. He was the Ku Klux Klan leader.
Yes.
He was blind.
Yeah, and he didn't realize.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, at
Funny
the
you
end.
bring them up. Back home, there was a shoe store in Kentville. Said there was a couple of black guys that worked it. They worked for their uncle. These guys from the south came up and they're Klans members. They walked in looking for shoes. They started the racial slurs, calling them niggers and saying they don't want them in here and get the hell out, blah, blah, blah. The guys behind the counter looked at him and said, "You ain't in Kansas no more, you stupid fucking white trash." Picked up the baseball bat. I said, "I guess those guys went tearing out of town as fast as possible." I said, "Up here, the cops don't protect your trash."
Or coon. Because there was one day you told me I caught a coon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, what?
I caught like 12 of them.
All that thing, you didn't get.
Yeah.
A whole family.
Whole family.
I found out my wife kept calling him over.
Oh, man.
I don't know what's with that.
How to get a one-armed blonde out of a tree? Who's hanging? Way better.
Oh. Oh, now I just gone too far with the blonde.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on officially.
Okay.
Well, officially, I'll leave it up to the two that are rarely here to
Okay.
decide.
Who wants to keep going with this? Say aye.
Nobody?
We're out of here.
Who wants to go in
We're
there and
outta
do something
there.
else? Say aye.
Yeah.
Okay,
There.
Really?
Yeah.
1-0 at
1
least.
to nothing.
What are you gonna do for
Eat
it?
these. Everybody take one of these.
I'm gonna take
No, but we have to do something. Robert is here, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
we do all for Robert.
Okay.
Okay?
You go in there and give me some bruises, right?
There is.
I
like
have
a-
some coins and I'm collecting coins, but I won't pay
Uh-oh.
$38 for a new.
I see every once in a while a little gold, not a coin, but like a gold, not bullion necessarily, those little ones, the small ones, gold and silver. And I always look it up to see what it's worth. And people are always overpaying for it.
Yeah.
I was
don't wanna
stupid.
overpay.
$20 silver coins for $20. $50 silver coins, $50. And once they had $200 coins, 2 ounces of silver, pure silver. But they said only 3 for the household. So I bought 3 really nice ones. I was stupid to ask. I didn't ask my friends to buy for me. But this is the best investment.
And then did they give it to you?
Yeah.
I say they kept it,
No. I didn't ask them. I said, why?
which is supposed to be backed by the bank. The country.
Because no, I can use them to pay whatever I want to pay
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I won't do it because now, as I said, it's like what I paid $20 for a coin. Now it's $100, $99.99.
Those red peppers are really good. I tried the. Oh, I'm serious.
I'm scared.
I tried the.
Why?
I don't know. I just
They're not hot.
peppers always make me nervous.
They're not hot.
Sweet peppers, yeah, bell peppers. No.
Okay, well, I'll try yellow.
Yellow's good too, but I found the red one to be really good for some reason.
Sweet bell peppers.
Now there's no sauce on it.
I'll dip the other side.
And that's double dipping.
The radish I know better.
No.
I just had a little piece that wasn't.
Not bad.
That's okay. I'm the Vaughn and pepper of yellow or red pepper.
I prefer
I
my
like
peppers
green.
cooked.
There's other peppers you should be worried about, not these ones.
Oh yeah.
Those are the ones you mash up and then throw in people's faces.
Yeah.
What was it?
Ghost peppers.
I think it's a scorpion pepper.
Scorpion
where
pepper.
you're wearing like a full face shield with respirator while you're grinding it up. Otherwise, it.
Pretty much.
I don't know the name, but they have some chili peppers in South America, and if you touch them,
The
then
scorpion
you'll
pepper.
be-
They burn your hand.
even if you touch them,
Really?
they use gloves when they pick them up. And
That's the scorpion pepper.
Gotta get me some of that.
Because the ghost pepper was the world's hottest, and then they found the scorpion pepper.
And they had to come up with a better name
Said, what kind of idiot decided to try to eat it first?
while it was burning his
I
fingers.
said, how do you pull that short straw? Here, you try it.
Yeah. Yep. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
Can I go full screen? He's the last one. Sakasai.
Don't even think I've ever seen him in a video. So,
He's the one holding the camera
that's
every time. He's as far as I know, he's the owner of Quest Video. The one that makes Hatsumi's videos, I think. Takagi Yoshinryu and Gika Ryu.
So how long before they decide to split off into their own little dojos and
Once Hatsumi goes bye-bye.
then the infighting starts? And
But I don't know.
who got the?
I was talking to them yesterday because I was ordering stuff. I said to tell them after the fact, but anyway, that's not really the point. The point was that they were saying. So I just found out it's official now. There is someone we know is Soke of Shinken Gata. Modern application, yeah. And I was talking to him too, and he said that he's not sure what he's going to call it. He might stay with Shinken Gata or Shinken.
Maybe 10 years before they have to pass it off to the next person.
Yeah.
Well, I
Well,
think that's where you'll start seeing the.
one thing they said was they're thinking of selecting a white guy, possibly. And if they select an American, and if they select a European, everybody in the Americas probably won't follow him. And if they select a Japanese, they said they're probably going to go with a younger guy, but not inexperienced. Maybe like, I don't know what he calls younger, but
One of the 50-year-olds.
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
That have another 30 years in them.
And then they're thinking if whoever they go with or the whites, the whites, you know what I mean? The foreign guys. That's anyone who's non-Japanese, are they going to follow?
They
So,
might just follow them out of tradition.
perhaps.
And then again, you said it depends on which Europeans. Like I know there's some. If they went to somebody in the States, there'd be certain European countries that would just say
See ya.
no.
Opportunity. You can, donate aluminum plastics. Because with the CNC machine, I think we'll be using a lot of plastics too. So,
That was something I came across a YouTube video. A guy who was using clear acrylic, and he milled AR-15 lower out of clear acrylic.
really? That's different.
It's a 4-part video that he put up. It's kind of neat. You actually see all the trigger mechanisms releasing as you pull the trigger and fully working lower. So the guy's obviously a millwright because he knew exactly, had all the tools. And
That's funny because the plastic one that you sent me, I think that's fascinating.
where it's bolted together.
Yeah, but I'd like to see it work.
Well, that's what people asked for, and he never
Yeah.
put up the video. He said, but the thing is that I know 3D printed blowers are illegal in Canada. I said, but it's not illegal if they don't know you have it.
And 3D printed
And
specifically.
that's the thing. Like if you want it, they said if you want to travel, you just disassemble it. You put the bolts in one bag, and you take the plastic parts, and you can go wherever.
And there's different plastics that are different hardnesses too, so you could probably.
He said like some of the edges are kind of sharp, and it's a little. I said, well, you just take a little Dremel, and you could
smooth it
round
out.
off all the edges and smooth it out. And, but yeah, I thought it was a neat video.
It's if it'll hold up, it's very interesting.
At the very least, I'm sure it'd hold up long enough for.
Oh yeah,
do
for
the
a little
trick.
while. Anyway,
Because
after it
it's
starts
not-
to warp and stuff, maybe.
Well, I thought about it. There's not a whole lot of heat going back down into those,
Yeah, I wouldn't think.
because most of the heat goes out through the barrel, and then the gas is the only thing that blows
Mhm.
back
hmm
for the most part. So I think most of the heat's kept right up there in the main chamber, and
That's interesting.
it would probably be more of the recoil shock that would eventually
If it
break
works, then it's faster, cheaper. You
the,
could
and
just
untraceable.
mass produce them, untraceable. And if you're being, I suppose you might be able to with aluminum too, but if you're being pursued, you could break it or melt it at the very least. And then what are they going to say? That was a lower. Was it? Was it?
I've seen them 3D print the entire receiver section,
Yeah.
uppers and lowers.
Yeah.
So I don't imagine the upper would hold up for a long time, but short term, I'm sure.
A few. And then I heard someone say to me, I think, it's like, how many shots do you really need? At least one. Maybe that's all. If you do it right. But he asked me, he's like, I posted a couple things and never showed up. But I said, oh, it's just because it said attachment unavailable. So, what's the sense of? It's rare that I will deny something if it's not appropriate to the group or not relevant. It does happen, but it's rare. Even when I get weird things like, can you do shadow clone jutsu? Sometimes I post that just so people see. Like, you can't be serious.
Yeah. I noticed that they died off, so
Yeah. Wow, weirdos, some of them. And I'm in a group now called Igaru Ninjutsu, and I joined that because I thought it would be interesting. And they're all like African.
so they haven't got a clue.
They don't have a clue, and they've got like they always promote posts from Grandmaster so and so of the African ninja organizations. And I'm like, oh my goodness! And a couple times I so much wanted to say, "Are you guys on drugs?" But I just gotta leave it.
Seriously,
Be.
don't you guys have your own martial arts that you should be practicing
Yeah.
instead of making stuff up?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Oh goodness, it's just hilarious. And I noticed a couple times they've been posting things about Kujin, and they're not even. Well, they're close. The hand signs are close. I was gonna say not
They're
even.
still the Naruto
They're very
anime
Naruto-ish.
cartoon
Yeah.
ones.
A couple of them, they were arguing about whether it was magic or not, and stupid things.
No, you just look foolish.
Very much, especially yeah. But they were trying to say, "Oh, if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. It's so dangerous. You could kill yourself." I'm like,
That would be impressive.
yeah.
Suddenly you're handling an imaginary grenade.
Oh, it's interesting to watch. Once in a while, I have to chime in on some things, but like there's one guy. Oh no, there was a site about something to do with ninjutsu. I can't remember what it was when they were like all making fun of them. And I think I just chimed in and said, "Dude, something about martial artists are the worst crybabies, something like that."
As the one old fella said, old war vet said, all martial arts were designed for a specific thing. Said you cannot compare one to the other. The dude was like 90-something years old in the World War I vet, and he said, 90 years of martial arts, and he's done almost all of them. He said, Everybody always thinks they're better than everybody else.
Why?
Yeah.
And being what? 5D, 6D, who knows?
On a little memory card, I'm like, what is this?
Not even a memory card, just
At that point, they're going to be speaking Chinese.
And they won't call it Chinese. It'll just be the standard. All other languages will die off.
Well, that's what happened in the Firefly series. Chinese Mandarin was the primary language, and English was like a secondary.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense when there's more. Than
It does
anything
actually make
else.
sense. Because if they were going to adopt a standardized language, I would first put the most widely spoken language first,
Which is
Mandarin,
Mandarin.
or whatever. Yeah.
because Mandarin is bled into all the Asian languages.
Yeah. Or Cantonese, but they're basically the same thing.
Wouldn't that piss off the Americans?
They still haven't caught on to the metric system, so.
Yeah, I know.
The only country left, maybe Australia, but
No, even Australia switched over. Out of all the first world countries, the U.S. is the only one that ever decided that it wasn't worth changing. Even though their entire NASA and all their scientists use the metric system.
they pretty much have to. Yeah. And air traffic controllers, I would guess, probably have to.
all the companies you see them, they are ISO certified. And this is what ISO introduced, metric system. So
Yeah.
And they are ISO certified, but
Yeah.
many companies, they are ISO certified, they still use the imperial system.
What are you looking for? Oh, the kitty? Oh, I don't know where he is.
He's around
He's
somewhere.
around. He's hiding.
Yep.
Well, most carpenters and pretty much all construction workers still use the imperial system.
Yeah, everywhere. Hello. I have to explain them. And however, for machining, metric system, it's a lot better because it's more precise.
Mhm.
He had to, as part of his job, give 10% right back again.
Yeah, that's not a good deal.
No.
I'm pretty sure that the time they put in is more than
Oh, I know.
enough for the
I know.
10%.
See, our preacher said, if we buy a church, I don't want any pay.
Oh,
So imagine we pay him $1,500 per month. So just all these 1,500 will be enough to pay the mortgage. So
he can't do that, though. Does he have another
he can.
job?
He can. Oh yes.
Oh, he does.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. Or he's just doing Saturdays and Sundays. So it's not. And
So
he's
he's a
working.
temporary priest.
No,
Part-time.
he's a part-time. Yes.
Okay.
But you see, we are still a mission. We are,
Well, that could work out.
so if we buy a church, we become like we switch from mission to
Mhm. Mhm.
a parish.
That's interesting.
So, and of course, he's here. What? Now he has almost 5 years. So he said, we buy a church, I don't want any pay. Okay, we pay him when he goes in Fredericton or St. John. Or,
Yeah.
My
Yes.
wife likes it.
Yeah.
She said she's feeling something.
Okay. Well, that's good.
I don't feel anything even. I don't know why, but
But that's been my problem. And I kind of mentioned it in that blog too, is once I get out of the military, I wasn't the same person as when I was a kid. I was very soft and nice. And then after I get out, I was very angry with the world. And I just seen so many things that I wasn't that little boy anymore. So now I hate people. Everybody.
That's usually the general theme for most of us that come.
I know. Yeah.
The general
I'm working
dislike
on
of
that.
society.
That's one of my downfalls, though. I know that, and I'm working on it. I hate people. I'm sorry. That's just.
What was it my sister posted the other day? She said, another Friday night and staying in. She said, I realized that even the garbage goes out more often than I do. She said, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Not true, because I come out at least 3 days a week. So.
Yeah.
This is me getting out of the house.
Yeah. Plus, if that's the case, and we do get the thing, then at least specific people will have the ability to just practice on their own anytime they want. Right?
And we find we have a new guy coming to train.
Oh,
Our preacher.
really?
Yeah.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Really?
He said I will come because he was with his daughter, and actually he enjoyed it. And anyway, he has weight problems.
Oh,
And
okay.
actually, he said, I really want to start. No problem.
I have lost,
Good.
in the last 6 months or so, I've lost 20 pounds.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I've been putting some weight on, I've noticed. Yeah.
Cisco. And dividing it up because you can bake bacon in the oven, and that's you can eat as much of that as you want, and it helps trick your system into eating the fat.
No, I like bacon as it is, not baked.
I prefer it fried.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I like it like this. I don't. For me, I don't bake the bacon.
I like mine fried just enough that it was lightly brown. I said I hate it when somebody chars my bacon. I don't like crispy bacon. I never have.
You know what I did? I took the fat like this. The belly fat is the best for the pig, and just boil it a little bit. Put a lot of spices, and then smoke it, and I make it like this. Ooh, I love
That was
it.
my favorite part of the ham and beans. Was homemade beans always had pork belly, little tiny piece of meat, and a nice big thick chunk of fat on it.
Yeah.
Favorite part.
Right.
I hated beans. I still do, but
I threw that piece out.
I do
love it.
too.
Like when I was with the military, amazingly, beans were the only thing I'd eat for breakfast. Otherwise, I threw up crazy.
Really?
Still hate beans, but I'd walk in, get a plate of beans, and go and sit down for breakfast, and that's what I would eat.
I was the only one when they prepare sheep or goat, but goat was very nice. Sheep. It was smelling like shit. I was the only one able to eat it. And I had a nice sheep leg, a full leg for myself. Nobody wanted it, but it was really, really bad. And we had the sauerkraut.
Oh, yeah.
And usually when they went to open the big, like they had the 200 liters barrels, and there were all worms on the top of the sauerkraut. Yeah, the white ones, small worms.
Little mealworms, good protein.
Good. Yeah.
Mind you, my favorite is for any time we're doing turkey or chicken. So at least I don't have to fight for my favorite part of the meal. So I love the heart. So I always loved the heart. So I get upset when they don't send one with it. So one year I didn't get one for like 6 months, so I went to the grocery store and bought a plate of chicken hearts. Went home and fried them.
I was eating everything. They had a lot of sparrows in the winter time, and they were killing them, shoot them. And there were hundreds of sparrows on the floor, and took them. Sparrows, small birds, but pretty tasty. Good. Good.
Never had a sparrow.
Never? Yeah, small, but you know what? Small body like this.
I grew up poor, but we had lots of beef, so.
Yeah.
And when we were tired of beef, we traded it for fish from the fishermen down the road.
We had only Sunday. In the morning, we had butter and milk and honey. So I was trying to catch some, and we were like 4 guys on the table. And the other 3 guys, my good friends, they didn't like to see a fly. I was trying to catch some flies and throw them in. Because you have to share, a piece of butter like this and a bowl of honey. We did so.
Judo. Whew. Didn't chew that one enough. Plus the way the pepper shape is going to hook, so when I swallow it hooks on my throat. Suppose you put it upstairs.
Keep track.
Yeah, I tried it every time I go to having an injury or something. When I separated my shoulder, walked in, the doctor said, "Well, it's not broken, it's just separated." She said, "Do you want a painkiller?" I said, "No, thank you." She kind of looked at me, kind of questioning, why was I there if I didn't want a painkiller?
You're just making sure?
I was making sure I hadn't broken my bloody shoulder. And they said, "Oh, it's just separated. It'll go back down in a couple of weeks." Okay.
If they ever offer you cortisol or cortisone, as you know, yeah.
Mom had that in both of her shoulders. She was worked at the nursing home for 30 years. So they got so bad it blew up both of her shoulders. So even now, she's got disability and she's working at Subway part-time.
Is that from lifting people?
Lifting people.
Yeah.
So she had cortisone in each shoulder 5 or 6 times, and she would work for
it's very short term
and then die out. It's it just makes it worse.
It does, yeah.
Because it makes you think it's better, and then it blows out again. So.
Yeah.
But no, that one was the doctor literally stood there and looked at me, kind of questioning why I didn't want any painkillers. Mind you, I understand most people go in screaming that they're in pain just so that they can get a painkiller of some sort.
Yeah, I suppose.
Just to get high. I don't use Tylenol unless I'm in severe pain.
Yeah. As I say, I'm excited to get the CNC machine, but at the same time, that's more work. So
now you just have to start making time and look at the CNC. It's fun.
It is fun. It will be fun, but
because I have to be good. The wife has issues with her stress, and because she just works.
Yeah.
It's do what your colleagues do. Come home, leave everything else alone.
Yeah,
but she won't. She just has to constantly keep going.
Yeah.
I said, I come home from work. I said, if I've had a bad day, I'm not moving once I sit down.
Yeah.
Unless it's a classmate, in which case I'm usually looking forward to that.
That's a total shift, though.
Yeah.
For me now, there's no such thing. Which is one of the problems of doing it this way, or monetizing it, or whatever you want to call it. There's always something that can be improved, or something I can do. Things I want to add to the store. We have wholesale accounts with companies that I've negotiated, and we haven't even added any of their products to the store yet. So I just wasted my time. But they're willing to give us huge discounts or something. I just don't have people. I need more manpower.
Is the kids scaring
Yeah.
Well, they've been going at work, so it's not going to be too long before they get to the point where they're going to be saying, "Oh, we don't have enough people anymore. Everything's going to be contractor. Everybody else is laid off."
I could see that.
Because they've been we're down to. They said before I started, there used to be 10 people on the grounds crew during the winter, and if it was a snowstorm, that increased almost 20.
Really?
It said nowadays there's 5 of us, and we've taken over a lot of the shoveling that custodians used to do. It used to be we were responsible for walkways and steps that weren't attached to buildings, fire exits. Custodians would do all their own main doors, main steps, all that stuff. Now we're told, oh, well, if they do, just count yourself lucky that they had time. It's like, before you guys went and micromanaged them, they had time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, and the custodians are saying the same thing. They keep downloading more and more on them, and it's just going to get to a point they'll start saying, "Oh, we're going to contract this building out because we don't have people anymore." I said, as soon as they do that, they'll start quickly running through everybody to get rid of all the staff.
Yeah.
They'll pay more.
Oh, I know that. And you know that. But management thinks that they'll be able to save money.
No way.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
Same as on the grounds. If they ever thought they could contract our jobs out to a landscape company during a snowstorm, so the company would come in, make sure everything was open in the morning, and they wouldn't come back until the storm's done. So it's not like they're going to have shovelers all the time. And the landscaping just wouldn't get done in the summer.
What a sucky baby.
I went as far as to look at the machinist course at NBCC the other day. It's less than $5,000, 1 year course.
You might be able to get it for free too. I think New Brunswick has a couple of programs where they pay all your tuition for stuff like that. But if there was ever things that you wanted to do to help, maybe not so much you because you do have a full-time job, but I know yours is a full-time job too, technically, but where you have more downtime in the day. I know you'd mentioned editing videos before. She seems to think that's an overwhelming job, but Ezra likes it, or he's relatively good at it. But even other things, like there's a few things that I'm falling way behind on. Yeah, that's editing videos is one. Uploading content to the membership site is another one, and adding products to the store is another one. I'm falling way behind. Like I just negotiated with a martial arts supply company in the UK for a wholesale account, and they gave it to us, and we probably won't get to it for. It's like, yes, I got another wholesale account under my belt that I'm not doing anything with. But see, if someone could learn our Shopify system or our e-commerce platform, then if they just did that, that would be huge help. Or editing videos, or managing the membership site from behind, maybe for free or something. I don't know. Or pay and free, depending on how much time you put in. There's always ways. If I can not take money, I'd rather not take money. Gold, silver, aluminum, maybe plastic. What else would I take? Bitcoin, technically. Although, maybe get away from that a little bit. But. Or just straight out landscaping. We already have your money, by the way, for the summer.
Yeah.
Your AR-15.
Yeah.
I mean, or whatever you want. Unless you don't want to do it. There's no pressure. Just.
Oh, no, I want to do it.
Okay.
I don't get to do enough of it at work anymore. So the last thing I did was take up brick and then the concrete it over where the brick went. I took up the brick and it was all rotten, and instead of buying new, they just poured concrete. Well, oh well.
Or that's probably Robert, because if Robert has extra time at work, he could get paid and do something else to get paid. Or whatever. But like I've said before, like we've given out work jobs to other guys, and it's like, oh yeah, I need work, or I want work, or they've asked to do it, and then once you give it to them, they don't want to do it anymore. So.
And they stop halfway.
Yeah. Stop halfway with the car. Everyone talks about they all want work. Then once you give them work, they don't want it. Usually.
What do you use for video editing software?
Adobe Premiere Pro. Yeah. Yeah. And it's pretty straightforward as long as you don't want to get too funky. We're planning to buy a green screen, relatively big one. And they're pretty cheap. Actually, they're really cheap. $40 for just a green screen, $100 including nice big bright lights.
Yeah.
Like, so when we were in that room, for instance, we could put it against the back wall and cover up all that stuff. And then you can project basically anything onto that green screen you want.
There you go. You got your very own imaginary dojo.
I thought about that
Yeah.
and I tried it.
That's right.
We do training
Yeah.
in Honolulu
I
sometimes.
just don't know where you're training. I know people watch a video and they're like, "Where are they?"
Or if I'm sitting at my desk, I try to get nice
Yeah.
angles that takes out crap. But now I just hang a screen right here when I'm doing that, and I can be anywhere. You know, that kind of thing. Really cheap, actually. I'm surprised how cheap they are.
Yeah.
Might get a new camera. A solo
Yeah,
shot.
that stupid gimbal.
It's a
thing.
robot.
Ugh.
Follows you robotically.
Okay, something different.
And it zooms in by itself and follows you, and you have to wear a little bracelet. And anyone that wears a bracelet in the video gets tracked.
Yeah.
And it'll do 4K. Our other one will too, but
That way you put shackles on the little ones and keep them outside of reach.
yeah.
Chain them to the toy room in the back corner.
And it'll do live at the same time, so it'll record and broadcast live. Yeah. Little ideas that we're thinking of that I'm pretty sure we can afford right now.
Yeah.
I put so much of my own money into this, it's not funny. So it's really not making a whole lot of money. It's costing money, really, but I can't help it.
Yeah.
We'll see how long the LeVar and his wife last. And,
He passed the first test, he came back.
yeah.
And he said he was going to come tonight, but he had to work. And he texted me this morning and asked me what time and what address. And then just a few hours before class started, he said I won't be able to make it. So, yeah. In a perfect situation, I don't want to do any business stuff at all. I hate it. But if I was rich, I'd hire staff to do that exclusively. And then I would just focus on my personal training or filming things I need to be there for, and then someone else takes the footage and go away, edit the video. We're getting there though. And if we get the place, I'd like to, whatever room is, however we do that, or our main room, at least I want to make it decorated like very traditional Japanese look, I think. Nice video, for videos and stuff. Nice flooring, nice, maybe, if not artificially, the rice paper type look around the sides, even if it's fake or doesn't really open or move or anything, but yeah. Something nice anyway, so that looks impressive. Bright lights. Yeah. And then if you wanted to teach your own class, you could do it there. Or we could start, and then we could pick our own, even more flexibility in picking our own days and times. Stuff like that.
I'm coming. Oh yeah, we could change the days.
Totally change it.
Totally change training nights.
If we wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I see a lot of changes for this year coming. Good changes, improvements. Yeah.
Where's the other cat?
Hiding.
He's smart.
I know.
What did you do to him?
Nothing.
Did you eat it?
Are you sure?
Yet.
Did you lick it?
Promise.
Did you lick his fur?
No.
No? No?
You look at fur.
Promise.
Always then, if somebody wanted extra training time, they could just ask. It wouldn't be a matter of, well, you gotta wait until.
Yeah. Well, certain people with maybe not white belts or anything, but certain people would obviously just have complete access, and do whatever you want to do there. Yeah.
This is nice. We have access anytime. So.
Yeah. Put a few extra things, maybe one of those bobs in there, or a heavy bag, or some mirrors. I saw an advertisement for, they're like mirrors, but they're very flexible. Have you seen this? They're really flexible, like it's plastic, and then it's sticky, so you stick it on and you peel the backing off on the front. And it looks like a mirror.
Oh yeah, it's just almost like the peel and stick tiles.
Yeah, but you can get them in big sheets too.
Just a giant
Yeah, and
polish
you would never
piece
tell that they're not a real mirror if it's any good.
and that way, if you run into it, it doesn't shatter.
Exactly, and they're cheap, not like a mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's not the Japanese look, but it might help if you're training by yourself. You can look at yourself.
Not the Japanese look, but it's in one pile of dojos.
Yeah.
Pretty much every North American dojo has got a
That
wall
look.
of mirrors to.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
But if you're training alone, even in the class, but if you're training alone, it's good to see yourself.
Mm.
Then you can see what you're doing wrong or whatever. Yeah. Whatever.
I've seen a neat tool for picking locks the other day on YouTube. It's got a key on the end of it, but it's got a little square piece and it's got the pick built in,
Okay.
and it has a little fold-out handle, so that's what you apply pressure
Yeah.
with. But it's got all the numbers on it for the best key locks. It says so you can trace the primary lock systems, and then you can trace the master lock systems for the ones so you can remove the entire system out of the door.
Okay.
And they said you just press down until you feel a click, and it's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, like depending on whether it's a 6-pin or a 4-pin or whatever.
Okay.
And you sit there and you just play with this thing until you feel reach this. You
Yeah.
press on it until it pops, and then you move to the next one. And said you can literally write down what number each pin is on.
I see.
So
it's like in a way a measuring device.
Yeah.
In order to copy a key.
yeah, but they said like because there's so much play, it can be the primary for just opening a door would be the first pressure you feel. And they said if you keep pressing in the same channel afterwards, if it pops again, that's the master channel. Which means that the pin had to go higher to hit the master channel.
Okay.
Because that design of lock was you've got the main key and then the control key you would turn and remove the entire lock mechanism out of a door so you could swap in the new parts.
Really? Yeah, I have a few different methods that we will eventually go into here, and kind of soon.
Mm.
It's fun. Lockpicking is fun.
Yeah.
And you get good, it's fast. Once in a while you get stumped. Like I've had people ask me to go unlock their doors for them. Most of the time it's successful, but once in a while. But see, the same lock, it's all in your mental state too. If you're panicked or if you're stressed and then you try to do it, it doesn't work as well. Because then you get frustrated and you start applying too much pressure and you start grinding your teeth. And if you're right calm the next day, boom, immediately. You're like, bastard. Yeah.
Leisha's SFIC picks.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe send it to me there later on or something. And there's a couple other methods that I've learned that I've never used, like using clay to duplicate a key. I've never done that, but I know how to do it. But some of these things, like I told you, there's some you can learn about something, but I'm the kind of person who I want to do it too, right? Even if it makes total sense in theory, I still want to be hands-on and probably in a class setting, make everybody do it at least once. Because there's a lot of things I learned growing up through the ranks too. Not a lot, but there's some things that I've learned about in case you need to use it, but it's different to do it. Like, I just want to do it. I want to be able to say I've done that before. I know how to make certain explosives. We were just talking about that earlier. How to make certain explosives, and I've made a lot, but there's still some I've always wanted to try, and I haven't done it yet. Stuff like that. But anyway, We'll do it eventually. Yeah, and I still really haven't gotten around to the lip reading thing. Not enough to teach it yet. Eventually, but it's short, and then we'll do. It might even be one class or a couple classes, and then we'll do. I think I said lockpicking was next, only because I go through the list alphabetically, unless someone bugs me enough for a certain topic. Yeah. And it is 9 o'clock, but there's no hurry. You can stay till 10 if you want. I don't care.
Yes,
Can I get a carrot, please?
Yes, you can have all those carrots your brother had in his hand.
What?
Nothing?
All the carrots I want in my hand?
No,
Yes.
Victor, pick them up and then throw them back.
So he had them all, except for
he
this
didn't
one.
have them all.
on this
He
side.
only had like 3 or 4.
When are we leaving?
Anytime you want.
You have to wash the carrots that you had in your.
Eat your carrots.
Eat them.
Eat
They're
your
good for your
carrots.
eyes.
They're good for your eyes.
That's true. Ours are so
And I didn't put them in my mouth.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You were touching them.
Once you touch it, it's yours.
That's right.
It's like garbage. You don't want to deal with it. You hand it off to someone else. As soon as they grab it, it's their problem.
Nico?
Yeah.
No, you're double dipping. Hey, take everything from here. Okay, go. Take this one with you too.
Never face the whole thing.
I'm joking, but take it.
Take this?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go.
Whatever.
Bye.
Thank you.
You wash them after. You took them. You wash them. Yeah, go away.
And I wasn't planning to just talk all night here, but that's kind of what happened. Once in a while, it's okay. It's good to just
Well,
Just us.
talk about things. Just us and everyone else. No, but not
Bobby
very
and
many
Robert.
people. Not very many people have access to
public.
this. There was one day she went and put it public by accident, but that was a while back. And I think I did catch it, right? I'm pretty
I
sure.
have no idea. I don't know. I don't remember. It was, I think we were like so rushed, and it was a day that we're just like going crazy. And I'm like, oh, when you get rushed, you just like, you can't think straight.
For lockpicking, I have bump keys. There's a bump key method. There's actual lock picks, old method. We have a gun. You do it that way. But probably the easiest way. There's a couple different picking methods. That's pretty fast and easy. That's what she said. What else? How to duplicate keys is relatively easy. Even with a file, like if you didn't have the machine, it's easy to duplicate a key. From a picture, it's easy, relatively easy. From even drawing, if you have to trace it. But the problem with this tracing is I don't know what type of key it is. So
You don't know the
we've done
channels.
this on a
Yeah.
couple different styles and they didn't fit. So I'm certain that this is the right pattern. It's just the grooves now we've got to figure out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it though.
Next time, if you have a graphite mine, put it like this, and you go like that, and you can see the channel.
Yeah, that's true.
The channel and the teeth marks.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's more accurate than this.
And it's this brand. There's two brands the CIA told me about. Medico is one, and the other one is Schlag.
Schlag.
They're the two hardest ones to pick
Yeah.
in the world. And not just cheap. Like I looked up Schlag on Amazon and they start at like $300 for a front door lock. Not like $20 at Home Hardware.
Yeah.
But they said $700 and up is unpickable,
Yeah.
supposedly. So
I'm sure the lock picker or the locksmiths are able to pick it, but
Yeah.
it's like everything else.
it's harder.
It's harder. Yeah.
They say it's impossible even, but nothing's impossible. It's just
I'm sure it's impossible if you're on a time crunch. But
yeah.
if you think about it, those professional locksmiths they're trained to open safes.
Yeah.
So
Well, that time I got locked in the mailbox, he couldn't pick it because there's a piece
Oh, it was
broken.
I tried to pick it.
Yeah.
She got locked in at the UPS store. She got locked in the vestibule.
I seen the photos on the newspaper.
Yeah. And anyway, I tried to lock pick it, but it was mechanically broken. So I couldn't do it. And I called the cops and said, I'm going to break the window. They're like, no, wait for us to get there. It's like, no, I'm going to break the window. And 3 hours later, they showed up. And she and Silas were locked in there the whole time.
So he was crying.
It was in the newspaper.
He's sad. He's
Yeah.
like, you're
Yeah,
on
if
the
you
other
look it up,
side.
if you look up Jason's name and it'll come up on the. If you look it up on the internet, it'll come up with that on it.
Yeah.
Google it. Yeah.
I was mad. And they tried to get the owner. He wouldn't answer his phone. And they went to his house, the police, and they were banging on his door, and he wouldn't answer the door. And finally, eventually they got him. And he was sleeping, and he said his phone had died. He's like, because there was another way in, like the main entrance.
Yeah.
The one that she got locked in is the entrance if you want to check your mail at night. And it limits you to the mailboxes kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, and she was even kind of making a joke, and because the neon sign with the chain was in there, and she was doing SOS on the sign. But I was mainly mad because Silas was in there, and this was a few years back, so he was young.
Yeah.
And he had to go to the bathroom. And he was kind of crying. I was like, I want to break the window.
I bet you the cops would have shown up quicker.
Yeah, I bet you they would have.
Yeah.
In fact, if I recall, the guy that showed up 3 hours later was a supervisor. And because he explained to us when he got there that when they received the call, they kind of do what the hospital does. They triage it and put it in the list. And he said, we weren't up yet. But he was sitting at his desk at the office or whatever. And he saw this thing and he's like, I can't let it go anymore. So he literally went himself personally to come.
Yeah.
So we've been on the list for 3 hours waiting for someone to get to us.
Oh, what is the joke? He said a woman called the cops because there was a.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
He said, and they said, "Oh, we'll get to you when we can." She said, she called back. She said, "I'd like to report a murder." And the cops were there swarming the place, and they said, "I thought you said there was a murder." She said, "I thought you said you couldn't get here for a couple of hours."
Yeah. That's about it, right?
I told the wife. I said, I was telling her today. Now our viewpoints on social justice and the liberals are fairly far apart.
You and your wife?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, because I very much dislike the liberals and their gun laws and their general policies on inclusion and all that crap. Yeah. She, on the other hand, believes in inclusion. I said, here's the thing. People aren't equal. They never will be. Get over it.
Yeah.
But I was telling her, I said, they want to ban semi-auto rifles. I said, even the OPP police chief has said
yes, I saw
that
the
90% of gun violence is committed with illegal firearms. Yep. He said, very rarely are they legally owned firearms. And he said, when they are, they're not the semi-automatic assault rifles. Yeah. He said, they're shotguns and hunting rifles. Yeah. He said, so banning them makes no sense. So, and I told her,
makes things worse.
Here's the thing: anything that's currently non-restricted, the RCMP and the government don't know where they are. Said, because when you buy a rifle, all they need to know is see that you have a PAL and they file it away. They don't have to send it anywhere. So a restricted weapon, they have to. But and I know I've seen things where they said RCMP have come out and said if they ban rifles, no RCMP in the right mind is going to go and try to confiscate any firearm.
Good.
They're not paid enough to do that.
Especially since they know they're going to come up across at least a few people who are going to fight back.
Well, or can they confiscate them?
Well, the thing is, they're trying to ban all the semi-automatic rifles and shotguns.
I only have semi-automatic rifles and shotguns, so
that's the thing.
I like them.
They said after they give a 2-year...
Mine are all semi-automatic.
The liberals are saying, oh, no, we'll give a 2-year leeway where people can bring their rifles in and we'll buy them back at market value and this that. It's like you're not buying it back. I said you never owned it in the first place.
Yeah.
But it comes down to
But how can they come to take them?
well, the thing is they don't know you have them, they can't take them. I said, and non-restricted weapons aren't listed on where they've gone. Because really, it said once I bought it, it said if I go to one of the gun show or gun markets that are throughout the Maritimes in the summer, it said so long as the person has a valid PAL,
Okay.
I can sell it to them, and it's no longer my issue. But yeah, I was telling her, I said, I'm buying my semi-auto. I said, as soon as I hear that you're going to ban them, I'll go and take money out of my line of credit and buy it.
Yeah.
And I said, they're not going to get it. And I said, no RCMP in their right mind is going to go out to people's homes and start looking for semi-auto or even the restricted ones. They said, there's 2 million Canadians that are legal firearm owners in Canada. There's not that many RCMP in the country.
No.
There's not even that many military in the country. Said the country, Canada has like 60, was it like 70,000 military members? Something like that. Said even the military couldn't stop them from keeping their firearms. So I said, out where we are, I said,
Well, where you are, because it's not directly in the city, it's even easier.
Yeah.
You'll be one of the last. You'll get warning, first of all.
But I said out there, I said, if something happens at the house, I said, the fastest a cop can get to my house, and I know I've done like 120 from Sackville to my house, is like 10 minutes. That's max because of the turns and the hills. And
if they're immediately available.
If they're immediately available.
Yeah.
I said, the problem is Sackville has 2 officers on duty at any given time. I said, if there's a domestic dispute, guess where both of those officers are?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do they work together?
No, they've got their separate vehicles. But domestic disputes always require a 2-person call.
Ah, okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
So if you're going to plan something, call in a domestic dispute to try and tie up more people.
Well, they said the ones who rob the banks during the daytime, they always pick like 4:30 to 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Said, that's ideal because then the cops are tied up in traffic.
Yeah.
And shift change and
yeah.
But yeah, it's he said it just doesn't make any sense. So I told her, I said, I'm getting my rifle, and I said, I'm going to teach you how to use it.
Yep.
I said,
we just watched episode 1 of Doomsday Preppers.
Oh yes.
I don't know why episode 1. I think I downloaded it just to see if we would like the show. Yeah. But some good tips, lots of good tips. Most of it we already know, but some new things. And there's a couple families that live out on a farm, and all the wives and the kids, they all, every once in a while, I think every 6 months, they all get together and fire. They go through drills to practice their firing, and they're like super preppers. The guy converted his pickup truck to run on wood.
I took my kids. You see Denise. Denise is shooting, and she's shooting pretty good.
Good.
She knows how to look to the scope, and she's shooting. She was 5 when Nicholas is putting the bullets alone. 22, small. But anyway, and they like it.
I took my first rabbit with a 12-gauge shotgun at 5.
I remember when I was a kid, my father bought me a rifle.
Yeah, said I was given a 22 as a kid, and so that way, if the coyotes or if the foxes or anything were at the chicken coop, said, okay, go deal with them.
I had my first Kalashnikov at 14.
Yeah, well.
And when I was 14, I got my first 303 British. So I've still got that. So. But yeah, the problem with Canada is we're not allowed anything that's a Kalashnikov or any variant of it.
Technically.
They didn't allow us to shoot the RPG and throw grenades before 17, though. Before 16, actually. After 16.
16 is when you're allowed in the infantry reserves. You know,
is it 16? Yeah.
Parent or with parental permission, you can join at 16.
Okay.
With the reserves, and that's when I joined at 18, but
I joined basically right out of high school. But I talked about it very briefly in that blog, but I hated it and I loved it. It's one of those experiences that I'm glad I went through it, but if I was asked to do it again, I would never do it again.
yeah.
It's just based, not necessarily the experience of the military, just seeing things I've seen, but the experience itself or the things I've learned is great. I love that I threw a grenade. I love that I fired a rocket launcher. I love that those things are cool, eh? It's fun.
Yeah.
And plus, like the gas hut and just knowing how to do it, that's all very valuable.
Spice the gas hunt.
Yeah.
Run around for 1 minute with no mask on. Mask.
Yeah.
It's like watching people puke on themselves. It's like,
But it's good to know now that you've done it, right? So,
yeah, that was unpleasant.
because nowadays, if there was a gas attack, people wouldn't know about breathing in before you put it on and then having to breathe out in case there's gas trapped inside and all that stuff.
But the one thing about that show, it's like they're like on TV. They're showing all their.
They're showing all the weapons.
Everything.
They're showing their stockpile of food. And
That's stupid.
I'm
It is very
that's
stupid.
That's rule number 1.
Yeah.
and they even said that.
Secrecy.
Yeah, it's like we're all.
Yeah.
Remember, they had an expert come in. It's like, okay, here's things you can do to improve. 1, don't tell anybody on a TV show. He says,
I know their neighbors are going to be like flocking to their
It's like
house.
My wife runs the pantry at the high school. She's one of the students. She's had a couple students say, "Oh well, I said, the apocalypse ever hit." She said, "I know where I'm going." She said, "You're gonna have to fight my husband and his rifle.
because he's coming too.
He's coming first."
Yeah.
May not be the healthiest stuff, but it's all shit that will last forever.
It's stuff that'll keep you alive.
Like it's all dry pastas and canned food.
I would even, and whether you do or don't say anything necessarily. I would even maybe just carefully siphon some of the food off, take it home.
I've thought of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just in case.
So at the very least, I know where the book is in the car.
Yeah.
Purchase order book.
Yeah. Is it that strict? Like they keep track of it that closely?
Oh, she's got like 4 different accounts she keeps
Okay.
right to the penny on. But she's got a purchase order book that allows her, I think it's $500 a month or something.
Okay.
That she doesn't have to worry about. It's just there.
Yeah.
And then she's got 3 accounts that are all fundraising and
Okay.
stuff. But
Yeah.
it's a lot of
Well,
time into it.
you're lucky in that way. You're lucky in a few ways because you're out in the middle of nowhere-ish.
Yeah.
And so you'll be the last to get hit with certain things. And you have access to food
And water.
and water. That's why I say if there was ever like a riot in the city, being in the city is the worst place to be.
Yes.
Which is why we're kind of thinking of maybe moving out a bit further. But now see
Yeah.
if this church thing goes through.
Yeah.
Right, there's some houses for sale right in that area,
I
which isn't
know.
too bad.
Yeah.
Still kind of in the city, but
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're not really in the city.
yeah, safer
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
So
Yeah.
safer.
A lot less traffic.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that that's Gorge Road and you have to deal with the transport trucks. But but hey, at least out there, if you timed it right, nobody would notice if you were practicing explosives.
That's right.
That's
Hey.
right.
Yeah.
The guy, my buddy that retired Air Force, he lives up on Briggs Cross. He went down to the gorge one day when they were blasting. They let him come in and take photos as they were blowing,
Really?
blasting. It's like,
Huh.
he went and asked the safety officer. He said, "Oh yeah, sure, come on in." And
Didn't you say you had a license for explosives or something? Demolitions? It wasn't you? Maybe it was student that came through not too long ago. Might have been that. What's that guy's name? Gabriel.
Oh.
I sent him a message in November and he hasn't even looked at it yet.
Uh,
So he's not coming back.
No. And if he hasn't looked at the message, then
He's avoiding it. Or forgotten about it.
or he went to jail.
He's still active on Facebook. We're still friends. He just
yeah.
doesn't want to look at my message. I'm kind of hurt.
Oh, I gotta go pick up my phone.
If you have to, there's no hurry.
Well, unfortunately, I have to. Otherwise, I have to listen to her complain about
You
leaving her
have
at her
to.
mother's.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Sugar and carbs and all that stuff. Said she dropped 60 pounds in a couple of months.
Nice.
But that was a big thing. She had to give up all starches.
I got too many.
She had to, we had to give up potato, bread, all sugar, things like that. Not easy, but and once you go, she went through the strict keto. She was on 25 carbs a day.
That's good.
That's
pretty good.
Extremely low, and she was ready to kill somebody after 3 months.
I know the feeling. And
she said now, next time we do it, it'll be a far more moderate.
you do get used to it too over time. But it's hard at first.
To teach your body. We went through one pile of bacon. We were buying the 11-kilogram boxes from the Cisco and dividing it up because you can bake bacon in the oven, and that you can eat as much of that as you want, and it helps trick your system into eating the fat.
No, I like bacon as it is, not baked.
I prefer it fried.
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, I like it like this. I don't. For me, I don't bake the bacon.
I like mine fried just enough that it was lightly brown. I said I hate it when somebody chars my bacon. I don't like crispy bacon. I never have.
You know what I did? I took the fat like this. The belly fat is the best for the pig, and just boil it a little bit. Put a lot of spices and then smoke it, and I make it like this.
That was my favorite part of the ham and beans. Was homemade beans always had pork belly, little tiny piece of meat, and a nice big thick chunk of fat on it.
Yeah.
Favorite part.
Right.
I hated beans. I still do, but
I threw that piece out.
I did too.
When I was with the military, amazingly, beans were the only thing I'd eat for breakfast. Otherwise, I threw up crazy.
Really?
Still hate beans, but I'd walk in, get a plate of beans, and go and sit down for breakfast, and that's what I would eat.
I was the only one when they prepare sheep or goat, but goat was very nice. Sheep, it was smelling like shit. I was the only one able to eat it, and I had a nice sheep leg, a full leg for myself. Nobody wanted it, but it was really, really bad. And we had the sauerkraut.
Oh yeah.
And usually when they went to open the big, they had 200 liters barrels, and there were all worms on the top of the sauerkraut. Yeah, the white ones, small worms.
Little mealworms, good protein.
Good. Yeah.
Mind you, my favorite is for any time we're doing turkey or chicken. So at least I don't have to fight for my favorite part of the meal. I love the heart. I always loved the heart. I get upset when they don't send one with it. One year I didn't get one for 6 months, so I went to the grocery store and bought a plate of chicken hearts. Went home and fried them.
I was eating everything. They had a lot of sparrows in the winter time, and they were killing them, shoot them, and there were hundreds of sparrows on the floor, and took them. Sparrows, small birds, but pretty tasty. Good. Good.
Never had a sparrow.
Never? They're small, but you know what? Small body like this.
I grew up poor, but we had lots of beef. So, and when we were tired of beef, we traded it for fish from the fishermen down the road.
We had only Sunday. In the morning, we had butter and milk and honey. So I was trying to catch some, and we were 4 guys on the table, and the other 3 guys, my good friends, they didn't like to see a fly. I was trying to catch some flies and throw them in, because you have to share, a piece of butter like this and a bowl of honey. We did so.
That's a wrap for this episode of Divine Warrior Ninjutsu podcast. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If not, well, too bad. So join us next time. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach us on our website at divinewarriorninjutsu.com. Thank you. We'll see you next time.